Bitcoin enters price discovery. Is a massive breakout or a breakdown coming next? Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. What a week we're having, right? Gotta like it. Gotta love it, actually. Been waiting for this for a long, long time, and we now have Bitcoin in price discovery mode, reaching new all-time highs. We're above 111,000 at this point. The current all-time high as of earlier today is at 112,000 even. Ooh, those even numbers scare me a little bit. But we're going to climb into the charts. We're going to show you what's happening. Show you really, I marvel, to be honest with you, at this market because we have all this momentum. We have all this good positive news. We have just really, in my opinion, a very strong macro outlook for Bitcoin. And people are still wondering. People are still questioning what's happening. People are still actually talking about shorting from here. And listen, at some point, there is going to be a pullback. There is going to be a support test, maybe even a deeper correction. But, it really feels to me at this point like that generational short ain't happening. At least not without a major catalyst. And of course, there's always those potential catalysts floating in the air, right? The geopolitical situations, some stupid remark or policy change from the current administration, something from the Fed, et cetera, et cetera. Yesterday's Treasury auction was a hot topic for the day. There is a lot of noise out there, and I would suggest you tune out the noise, focus on the charts and the data, and make your trading decisions based on the facts as opposed to speculating. So let's climb into the charts and look at the facts. And in this analysis, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. I'm going to show you why I'm bullish, but I'm also going to show you those potential targets if things do go south on us. Yesterday, we talked about targets and price discovery. So you can go back and look at that if you want to see where things might be going up from here. But I think it's always important to know where those invalidations are, where the potential pullbacks could go to, et cetera, and what tools are kind of helping us and data are helping us make those decisions. So let's climb in. I'm going to start here with a view of the candle chart. But first, a couple reminders. If you haven't done so yet, smash some buttons for me. Help me grow the channel. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, especially so you never miss a stream. And live chat is open. Always enjoy chatting with you guys. If you've got questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If you have insights, by all means, please share them. We love engaging with you guys. So, I say we. I love engaging with you guys, and I think the group enjoys, the audience enjoys it too, because we get, I think, better content that way. Something that serves you guys the best. That's what I'm always trying to do is give you guys the best I can. And gosh, we got something exciting for you too today, because there's a Memorial Day holiday weekend coming up here in the U.S. Long 3-day weekend. Material Indicators typically has a sale for that. We're starting that sale early because this market is sizzling hot, and I want you guys to be able to take advantage of that. So I'm going to start by just showing you what this offer is, and then you can go back and grab it from the link in the description, and we'll go from there. Right? 30% off. This deal is absolute fire. 30% off every plan that's 3 months or longer. You really want to maximize this deal. Get the alpha when it's actionable, and you want to get the most alpha. Make sure you go Premium Plus. Gives you access to every single tool, every retail product that Material Indicators makes, including fire charts, trend precognition, MTF mean reversion indicators, and all of the data in the MI dashboard. If you're a dev, if you're a developer, or you're pro trader looking for that institutional grade crypto market data, you get the raw data and the process data via API. More on that on the Material Indicators website, but links are down in the description of the chat. Now let's move into the charts. And the first thing we notice is, as I mentioned, we have a new all-time high. Okay, we had one yesterday. We got another one today. So let's go ahead and set that right here. It sits at 112,000 even. I love doing this. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Set the new all-time high. How about that? There we sit. Obviously, a very calculated move to get to an even number there. 112,000 even and 0 cents. Pretty interesting. Wonder if that was the same on Coinbase. Let me take a quick look over there and see where we sit on that side. Yeah, same $112,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the quants are at work, right? So I'll go ahead and change this one too while we're at it. What is the scenario here, right? I've read all sorts of crazy thoughts about what's happening. There's a big hyperliquid trade out there that's over $1 billion. I think it's 40x leverage, and they're like, oh, he could get wrecked. Well, he could. Everybody could. But I don't know. I think he's probably in pretty good shape at this point if he hasn't already cashed out that thing. But in terms of downside targets, so we're looking at the weekly chart right now, and notice how the trend line and the 21-week moving average have confluence here. This tells me we got strong support in this range, but I want to show you where it's even stronger. I actually highlighted this with something on my other chart. On the daily chart, we have a golden cross here. Golden cross between the red 50-day moving average and the purple 200-day moving average. That is obviously showing us bullish momentum. Yes, sometimes after these crosses, we do have a quick downturn before a recovery. And these are indeed lagging indicators, but it's momentum, okay? And the momentum tends to continue. So look at all of the confluence we have here, not just around the trend line, right? We have the trend line here, but we also have both moving averages and the 2025 yearly open. And that was the last resistance that was RS flipped, resistance support flipped here. As you can see, we tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, for a couple of weeks, right? With lots of touches on that line or near touches before an eventual explosive move up. And so if you've listened to my analysis for any length of time, or you've been in our community on Telegram, I am not a person who subscribes to the up-only narrative. You also know that I don't really like straight lines. I don't think straight lines are sustainable, and they typically are not. Of course, there's always exceptions to every rule, but here's what I want to show you, because I was actually discussing this with somebody on Twitter earlier today. I always want to see support tests on these breakout moves. I don't always get them. And if we roll back in time in history, here's the FTX crash. Took us down to 15.5. We had a brief consolidation in this range, 15.5 to about 18 grand, something like that. And you can see we tested the support side, but once we left that range, we didn't go back and test it. And then we moved into this, this range did get retested here in the 20 to 20. Where are we? 20 to 25K kind of got tested, came back up, explosive move. And then we had a new range here, 25K to 30K. This never got retested. And at the time I was waiting for that retest. It didn't happen. And this is when I personally felt like, okay, the bull is on. And, I was sitting here, back at this time, I was actually expecting to see a dump down to this 13.8, and it never happened, right? So I bought a little bit here, but I was very conservative because I thought more dump was coming. Didn't happen. I did sell some of this because I thought we were going to go back and test it. We didn't. Fortunately, I still have a little bit from that range. And this is where I began dollar cost averaging my position. My full long-term Bitcoin investment position started here. We got into this 25 to 30K range. Again, a couple of support tests at the support side, but we never went and retested the resistance side. And I bought a little bit here, but again, not as much as I, in hindsight, wish I had, because I expected that support test. It never came. And so I, rather than rely on Oh, I don't know, maybe old school thinking. I decided to make sure I was trading what was in front of me, and that's what I've done ever since. And so, same set of circumstances. We left this range back to the now a 40 to 45K range. I really expected this to get retested, and it did not. Uh, I do, again, these consolidation ranges are where I accumulate. We had a bit in the 50 to 52 range. This one finally, this was a very brief consolidation. So I also thought it was going to get retested, and we all know what happened there, right? We went to new all-time highs, and at the time, anyways, and then things broke down. We did ultimately get a retest right here. And this was what, from February 2024 to August 2024. So it took 6 months. Not that the timing has any relevance to it. It took 6 months and a Japanese carry trade unwinding to send us here. But we did actually retest support there, and then a double bottom, and up we went. So now I had been looking for that same kind of retest of support, right? We broke the 69K range, which was our prior all-time high. It was a 2021 top. We did break it a few times, but we kept breaking down. We had all these wicks below. We kept breaking down. We kept breaking down from it. So I knew there was just not enough strength here to keep things up. And then we had the death crosses, and the rest was kind of history. All since this happened, I have been I have been I have been calling for once we broke that 100K. So again, right, we tested this. This one did actually get a test of support test on the RS flip. And then we got up into this 100K range, and it never really held either, right? We nosed up there in November of 2024. We had the Trump pump that began on election day, November 5th, straight, just an absolute rip to get us up here. Things broke down a bit. Again, the golden crosses began, and things got uglier and uglier. And we found ourselves testing support, actually breaking through that structure here briefly. But we had prior consolidation levels that came into play. We had a double bottom here. And then, of course, this looks a lot like a V-shaped recovery, right? So now at this point, I don't have the same expectation, even though I'd like to see it. And even though a week ago I was looking for it, I don't have the same expectation that we're going to get that retest to 100K. Certainly it could happen with a catalyst, but just based on, the momentum that we're seeing here and the outlook, the macro outlook, I think we could potentially see a pullback to the 21-day moving average, which currently sits at 102,000 and change. Not ruling this out at all, but I'd be very surprised if we break this structure again, or we go below the 2025 open again, for a number of reasons. Number one, the enthusiasm and momentum behind Bitcoin right now. Number two, if we look at fire charts, and for anybody new to the stream, fire charts, well, anybody old to the stream has seen this for a long time. If you're new to the stream, fire charts is a heat map of the order book. Up top, we have liquidity. Bid liquidity is below the line. Ask liquidity is above the price line. And down here, we have our binned CVD that shows all of the various order classes as different colors. So what makes this important is being able to especially track whale activity. And purple whales have historically had the most influence over Bitcoin price. That's not the same for all assets, but it has been the case for Bitcoin for many, many years. So here we can see all of the moves that that led us here. The breakout that happened a couple days ago, what's today? The 22nd. So it was a day ago, right? 21st is when we actually broke this level here at 110. The all-time high was, of course, at 109. Lots of asked liquidity at 110K, and now we've broken above that. So below this, right, we talked about what levels we could possibly go to from here. And as you can see, there is a nice ladder of bid liquidity up above 102K. And obviously there's more down to 100K, but it starts to thin out below that. And then there's another block, random block down here at 86K. Actually, it's not that random. This block here has some confluence, 86.5-ish, right? With a prior area of consolidation, right? This range right here was our 86.5 to 91.5 range. And we did spend some time in here. This range, I actually marked this range when we first approached it here back in November, because as we were going on this straight rip, I was looking for any consolidation area for price to pull back to. That indeed happened here, and we broke through it for a brief period, recovered it, lost it again, and then fought our way back in. And so there is a block sitting down here. I'd be very surprised if price goes there. That would be, I guess, kind of the last line in the sand, if it were. But I really think the 2025 Open might be the line in the sand at this point. Perfect confluence with the trend line at this point, and all these moving averages down here. This to me looks like very, very strong technical support. So anything below this, if we lose the 2025 Open again, I would probably lean up my position and look for another entry. My average price is still very, very good, sub 50K. So I'm happy with that entry, but I don't obviously want to give everything back. I'm willing to let these trades breathe a bit, but I don't want to give it all back. So if we approach this area again, I would consider leaning up at least the upper entries of my position. So back to fire charts here for a moment. If we zoom in to the daily time frame, we get much more granular data, right? And we can see the bid liquidity stair stepping down a little bit. That's okay. I don't mind this volatility at this stage. I think we have to give the asset room to move. And so some of the things that I read on the interweb today, I thought were interesting. One being, I think that Trump's, his meme coin dinner is tonight or this week, or and people speculating on whether that will be a sell the news event. Let me say this: who freaking cares? If it is, it's not going to be a major dump. I don't know, what that has, what that event has that really offers the macro for Bitcoin. It's a shitcoin event. So it might be a sell the news event for his coins, but I don't think it's a sell the news event for Bitcoin. Likewise, yesterday we had just huge news that has, I think, a global impact for the overall crypto market, and that was the Genius Bill making it through the Senate, through the U.S. Senate with bipartisan support. It is largely believed that will pass and get signed into law without a whole lot of friction. So that changes the landscape of a lot of things, including the fact that it would likely make Circle the largest, and possibly Tether. I don't know. I haven't read the whole bill, but it would likely make those U.S. based, at least the U.S. based stablecoin issuers, the largest holders of U.S. Treasuries, and that could have an interesting dynamic on the economy, especially considering yesterday's Treasuries auction didn't go so well on the 20-year. So there's a little bit of insight to that. I think that those news-driven events that have, and the volatility that comes with them, that have more of a global macro really sense to them, are important, and not just noise, versus the game of, what the flavor of the day, or what the line of the day is, coming out of the administration. Like, on days when he says he's going to fire Fed Chair Powell, which we now know is not possible, right? He doesn't even have the authority to do that. So it's just noise. It's freaking hot air. Has no impact. Whereas reducing tariffs on China from 145% down to 30% has an impact. So we still know that we're in this negotiation period with tariffs, and when those 90 days expire, then we could see some volatility based on that. And depending on whether the news is better than anticipated or worse than anticipated, obviously the market's going to react to that. Today we had some news, some economic news, that initial job claims coming in today cooler than expected, whereas the continuing claims came in a little bit hotter than expected. Not a big number, not a big deal, but the market clearly grabbed onto the good news and decided to ignore the bad news on a day where we're making new all-time highs and everybody's feeling good about themselves. Let's see if there's any updates on this stuff I wanted to see on home sales, etc. Existing home sales slightly lower than expected, and month over month looks like it came in not as bad as last month, but still not great. And we have tomorrow. What's coming up tomorrow? More new home sales, more homes data. Not a whole lot. There's a Fed Chair Powell event on Sunday that we might tune into, and then as we wrap up the month, and we do have a monthly close coming not too long from now, right? We have a holiday weekend, so U.S. markets are going to be closed on Monday. We have a holiday weekend, might make way for some volatility. This is what I'm looking at here is Wednesday, the 28th. We're going to see if there's any change in the mortgage rate. It has not been good, and nothing so far has really impacted rates for us yet. Not for a long time anyway. So interesting to see, watch this data and see if the Fed will react to any of that. Back to the charts now. Another data point I wanted to share with you guys. Obviously, the ETFs are flowing pretty strong, pretty heavy here over the past couple of weeks. Only a couple of days over the past couple of weeks that have had any red in them whatsoever. BlackRock not participating in those sales at all since early in the month. So again, we have institutional adoption. We now have more companies, more corporate holders of Bitcoin, moving into a Bitcoin reserve. We have now Texas has sent a bill to the governor's desk to be signed to start a Bitcoin reserve in Texas. And we have a few other states on board with that. But I think the big news of the week has been the Genius bill in terms of, positive news for crypto. Now, again, I told you I'm looking at, where we go from here. There's obviously some pretty strong resistance up above here, between here and 120. But I do think that range gets us to some interesting targets, right? We've got heavy ask liquidity stacked at 120 and obviously more going upward from there. I think we need to see some more bid liquidity come into the range. Looks like, they're trying to hold us up here above this 110 at this point. Quite frankly, I don't care if we hold up as in this new post 109K all-time high territory. It's okay if price fluctuates a little bit. But I do want to make sure that we do hold above. Well, I say I want to make sure. I don't have anything to do with it, but I'm watching to see if price can hold above this 2025 open. That's again the most critical level on the chart here. If, in my opinion, if we lose that, then we really probably heading for a bigger breakdown. This could very well come into play. My Bitcoin position is built, to be honest with you, and so I'm trading alts a little bit to try and generate some more powder to buy more Bitcoin. And I've been successful doing that most of the time. So you don't win them all. I certainly don't. If you do, hey, good for you. But at this stage, alts are not having the same kind of run that Bitcoin is. I keep seeing questions about when's an alt season going to come. I don't know that we're going to get the alt seasons that we used to experience in this market that went for months and months and months. I think we get these rallies. I think we get these pumps like we had on the Trump pump. Alts really soared from there. Like we earlier this month, actually, even in the past week or so, about the past 10 days, we did see a divergence forming between Bitcoin dominance and total three, right? Total three is here in purple. Bitcoin dominance is this light orange one. And at one point we had a really serious divergence happening where we had both total three rising while both Bitcoin dominance and USDT dominance were falling. And that is the recipe for, that leads to these alt rallies. It was short lived. It went from April 8th to May 12th. So that was about 5 weeks, actually, better than I thought. We now, in the past couple of days, are starting to see a little bit of a recovery from alts here, and not much of a divergence from Bitcoin because we've been in these all-time highs, right? So maybe we get a little bit of breather on the Bitcoin pump. Alts rally a little bit. I really like this chart. I put this together. It's an overlay of USDT dominance, total three, Bitcoin dominance, and of course Bitcoin price in here. So that's something you can create for yourself if you want. I got another alt data I can share with you. Cinema Best asking me, what do I think next? Well, I think price either goes up or it goes down or it goes sideways, right? So how do you know? This right here tells me that that people are rotating out of stable coins, right? We see USDT dominance falling. So money is flowing back into out of stables and back into alts. It was rotating heavily into Bitcoin to get this breakout, right? And now that we had the breakout, a little bit of money is starting to flow back into altcoins. Now, whether that continues or not remains to be seen. If you have been engaged in this market for any length of time, you know how this market likes to punish late shorts. I mean, late longs and early shorts. So those are things to be mindful of. And I don't think at the moment we have enough. We haven't seen retail ape in enough at this level to have that punishment just yet. I would not be surprised in the least bit if price moved, and I'll show you why I have this target. I shared this with you guys yesterday as well. Measured move off the cup and handle gets us into the 122 range, right? 122.5K is where my measured move takes us. Let's say it's 120 to 130,000 as the next target. That's my next target on this next leg up, or this current leg up, if you will. And I could absolutely see the market chasing price up to 120. I could see it happening. Maybe it doesn't go all the way. Maybe it does. But I could absolutely see a scenario where price gets, traders chase price up to 120, and conceivably into this golden pocket. Actually, this is not golden pocket. Golden pocket's down here. Conceivably up to this first 1.618 fib, which is at 130, and have the punishment come from somewhere in this range, in the 120 to 130 range. Have a correction, a support test, and then a move that could conceivably take us up to the next fib extension around 165K. Whether the market tops out whether that's our cycle top or not remains to be seen. Really have to evaluate it as we get there, if and when we get there, and see what else is going on in the world and what the influences are fundamentally influencing the market at that stage. So that's my bullish scenario. I think there will be a correction. I think there will be punishment, but I think shorts are going to get squeezed first. I think retail is going to chase price to try and get in, and then the punishment is going to come. Now, here's how you keep from getting wrecked. Number one, if you don't sell, you don't get wrecked. If you're buying Bitcoin, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape in the long run. Okay. So yes, there will be another bear market, right? There's no up only forever. There will be another bear market at some point, but we are not there yet at this point. Solidly in a bull market, in my opinion. And in the long, if you're playing the long game as an investor in Bitcoin, I don't think you have to worry. I think you can look for the little corrections, you can look for the little dips, and you can buy them and be assured that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to have a great investment. If you're having trouble figuring out how to buy those, how to find those dips, I have a tool, and this is one of the things you could get for, at that discount at Material Indicators is the MTF mean reversion indicator. This thing is battle tested, right? Identifies dips with a high probability of bouncing. And, I dollar cost average these. I do little buys. I dollar cost average these, and you can use this to accumulate. You can use it to scalp. You can change your settings and go for deeper deviations, or you can, if we're in a kind of a sideways chop, you can use shallower deviations and get those scalps. So I use this for Bitcoin. I use it for alts, and I've been using it since about 2018-ish. So I've got a lot of confidence in this indicator. Risk management is key with this, as it is with everything else. Another thing that you can use is, along with your technical analysis, I like fire charts. I like I like being able to just simply identify where resistance and support are by looking at where the liquidity is. You can see we have a moderate sized block here at 100 in that 102, 103 range. Actually, they're stacked. 103 has 32K. 32 million, another 20. So you got 50 million right here at 100, between 120 and 130, between 102 and 100K. That I think is going to hold its support here, unless, of course, we get a rug pull. But, I think we're in good shape right now. Obviously, a lot of ask liquidity stacked overhead. So I can see that resistance is pretty strong right here, and it's even stronger up here at 120. So watching this very, very closely, but this is great for just visually, at a glance, identifying targets where you might want to, do some profit taking. Or you can see we just had a little change in this, right? Did this just give us new support? Is that a step up or a step down? Looks like another little block of bid liquidity came in here to hold this up above 110. So maybe we go back up to this 112 range, something I will watch. And something that will give me some insight to that is what whales are doing. And if we click out some of the other order classes and make it easier to isolate those whales, we can see that just a wee bit of profit taking out of those purple whales here at this point. Unless I see just a massive dump, I'm not concerned. I'll be honest with you. I took a little profit in this range as well. So there's that. Likewise, we've got another tool that might be helpful to you in the MI dashboard. The global analysis, we can get a broader picture of where the market is going based on how where's the beta, high beta, low beta situations, right? When we get into high beta situations is when the market tends to find local bottoms, And when we are in low beta situations is where we find local tops. We can see that we just had a little bit of a change here. So we may have found the local bottom and now prices is moving up, right? So this local bottom would be that 102K level that we broke out of here recently. Another metric in here that's very, very helpful. You want to talk alt season, right? So let's look at how alts are performing. Let's see. Oh, this wasn't the chart I was looking for, but this is still a good one. We can see that we are kind of transitioning these areas where we have more blue, right? Where things are a little bit cooler. Those tend to be local bottoms. We've moved off of that. That was up around 76, where we did bottom. We did bottom at 74, that 74 and a half range or so, right? And then climbed out of this. So the chart I was looking for is returns and drawdowns. So this is a view of the market, and you can see a little bit mixed here, right? There's periods where we just have the whole market moving up. Here was that Trump pump right here, where alts were just absolutely soaring, 40%, 44%, 29%, 39, 26, 38, 86%, 82%, 71%. A lot of coins did really well. Not all of them, right? But in general, the market was moving together as it tends to do. Now we're having a little bit more, how should I say, diversity in what we see. But we are getting some more of this red, which shows that we do have some decent profits. Those are in the 20% range, right? I would just say that you got to be very careful with your alts at this point. And because there's so much interest in Bitcoin, quality, if there is such a thing in alts, I happen to think that there are a handful that I think are quality. But most importantly, we're not seeing the drawdown here that we were seeing after this massive run, right? And then we got that tariff announcement. This wasn't tariff announcement. That was in April, but there was a big correction after this, and you can see the drawdown on some of these alts. They went minus 74%, minus 46%, minus 66%, minus 47, minus 60. Okay, so this chart in the MI dashboard gives us insight to what alts are doing. This is a 14-day rolling drawdown average. And this shows not an average, but a rolling drawdown of all alt USDT pairs on Binance. That's about 400 pairs. So there's a lot in there. You can just expand it to see the different pairs that you're looking for. Okay. Going to leave you with a parting shot here, I guess, of the order book, and see if we zoom out a little bit, if anything reveals itself as remarkable. And quite frankly, I'm waiting for this chart to adjust, and so we can see what is above 120. I think we need to see things hang here. We could conceivably see a support test down to that 102, 103K range. But really, I think based on what we're seeing with the charts and technical analysis, what I just showed you with the liquidity has confluence with what we see here with the 21-week moving average, 21-day moving average. And I think this is a relatively solid target. If you're looking, well, let me put it to you this way. I'm not making any recommendations here, but I'll tell you this, because I don't give advice. But I will tell you this: I do have an order here, just in case. Some might say that's catching knives, which I don't normally subscribe to. But again, I have a great entry on my long-term position. I'm just looking to put another little, take some of the profits that I've made off of alts here in the past couple of weeks, and put them into that position as well. So that's what I'm looking at. You do what works for you. Hope this has been helpful for you guys. If it is, drop me a note, drop me a comment. Let me know what's helping you out. That always makes me feel good. And also, by all means, if there's something you want to see in a future stream, you can share that as well. Remember, okay, we have a deal for you. If you're interested in any of these tools, any of them at all, they're all on sale at materialindicators.com. You can find the link and the promo code in the description of the video. Thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate the ongoing support. Here's to trading smarter.